Nothing about driving the new 2019 Volkswagen Jetta for the first time is a typical experience. For one, we're in Arizona, at the company's proving grounds, a 1,600-acre facility surrounded by massive walls designed to keep folks like us out. Inside are two Jetta prototypes, pre-production cars really, swathed in swirly camouflage with heavy blankets covering most of the dash and center console. And yet, here we are. Invited to a place we've never been before, although relieved of our cameras and smartphones, for security purposes. Now, other manufacturers have had us to their secret proving grounds on similar adventures, but Volkswagen hasn't in recent memory. At a minimum, it's an unusual move for an automaker entailing lots of risk that we might see something before we're supposed to. It's fascinating to take a peek behind the curtain. That might lead you to think the idea of a Jetta built to a price is out the window, and that's what we were most interested to discover driving the car around APG. After a tour of the facility, we headed to a short, low-speed course. It's apparently used to test vehicle fuel tank ventilation systems, to make sure they work properly by sloshing fuel around. It was basically a low-speed autocross course, and it revealed a few notable things about the new Jetta that shouldn't change too much by the time it heads to production. For one, the exterior is sharp. Literally. The beltline crease under the window sills is incredibly pronounced, as are the fillets at the edges of the hood. Our first tester was an upmarket trim, probably in cell. It had complex, interesting headlight elements and upscale, two-tone leather seats. A peek under the blankets covering the dash and center console revealed Volkswagen's digital cockpit, although it was in some sort of debugging mode and didn't display a normal interface. The door cards had an insert that looked like patterned aluminum, and it nicely set off the angular inset for the door handle. The door pulls, however, were hard, nasty plastic, and while other parts of the door card were soft-touch plastics, they didn't look like it. The bottom line is that the interior is much more like the new Atlas than the outgoing Jetta, in both good and bad ways. It's also adequately roomy, particularly in back, for normal-sized humans. The true test of consumer-grade steering competence is a long, rough freeway ride. None of that today. Instead, it was put to the test on the high-speed ring. Incidentally, the Jetta's approximate top speed, somewhere around 128 miles per hour, with 3 average-sized adults and an unknown amount of fuel on board, as measured by a VW engineer's GPS in the back seat, is pretty close to neutral steer on the highest part of the banking. The steering was accurate enough to keep us in the lane at this speed with the slightest of inputs. And the brakes, both hauling us down from the banking and on a short wet slalom and braking test in an adjacent lot, were also up to the job. An engineer mentioned that revised calipers, with bigger pistons, and a revised pad compound helped out there, although the overall size of rotors front and back is unchanged. Feel there was adequate, and braking performance seemed good from the seat of our pants. There was no measured stopping test to confirm our hunch, of course. The problem is, the Jetta is best when it's a niche product. It started out as a Golf with a trunk, and the company didn't build a cult following by diluting the essence of its core products. Moving to the Golf Sim QB platform is a great step. A real GLI, with an independent rear suspension and moves to match its Golf sibling, would cast an air of Europhilic legitimacy to the whole line, a unique selling proposition in a segment that really could use one. Look at Subaru's success sticking to all-wheel drive and boxer motors in the most vanilla segment around. Americans deserve vehicles with a soul, even commuter appliances. We need more seat time to determine if VW captured the mojo on this one, and we need to see what kind of price point it comes in at. Until then, VW's latest creation will remain metaphorically wrapped in a mysterious swirly vinyl wrap.